Hello everyone, my name is Daisy Daniel. Happy to be joining you here today for a Facebook Live, also on YouTube, Instagram, to go over a reflection from the book, The Language of Letting Go. It's a beautiful day out here, and let's get right to it. I know the topic today is honesty, so let's go ahead and read the reflection. Honesty. We are on page 129. She starts off with a quote by step 5 of Al-Anon. Honesty. Admit it to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. Talking openly and honestly to another person about ourselves in an attitude that reflects self-responsibility is critical to recovery. It's important to admit that we have done wrong to others and to ourselves. Verbalize our beliefs and our behaviors. Get our resentments and fears out in the open. That's how we release our pain. That's how we release old beliefs and feelings. That's how we are set free. The more clear and specific we could be with our higher power, ourselves, and another person, the more quickly we will experience that freedom. Oh, this is good. Step 5. It is an important part of recovery. Step 5 is an important part of the recovery process. For those of us who have learned to keep secrets from ourselves and others, it is not just a step, it is a leap toward becoming healthy. And here's the prayer she says at the end. Today I will remember that it's okay to talk about the issues that bother me. It is by sharing my issues that I will grow beyond them. I will also remember that it's okay to be selective about those in whom I confide. I can trust my instincts and choose someone who will not use my disclosures against me and who will give me healthy feedback. Beautiful. I love it. All right, so let's go back to the beginning and unpack this. Honesty, not just honesty with others, but honesty with ourselves. Actually, one of the 10 commandments in the Bible, commandment number 5, I believe, 9, I believe, is do not bear false witness against your neighbor. To bear false witness is to lie. Basically, is to lie, to be dishonest, which is the opposite of honest. And as we unpack this, remember that she is talking about being honest with yourself and with others. Being honest, telling the truth, sharing what has hurt you, what you need to recover from. All right, so let's start. She started off with step 5 of Al-Anon, and if you're not familiar with Al-Anon, Al-Anon was started by the wife of the man who started the 12 steps for Alcoholics Anonymous. And if you have not seen the movie about her life, it is absolutely an amazing movie. It is called When Love Is Not Enough, and I won't give away everything in the movie, but she was a really big codependent. And you could see the dynamics of codependency in that movie. So great. I mean, I've seen the movie maybe 4 times, and like I've said in other videos, I've never drank. You know, I could count on one hand how many times I have drank alcohol. But that doesn't mean that those in your circle of growing up, or even your nuclear family that have struggled with alcohol, those things don't transfer over to you. Those traumas, they do. So that movie is called When Love Is Not Enough, and in that movie it shows how she started Al-Anon, and Al-Anon is for the spouses of those who suffer from alcoholism, and it was a support group that she started to support all the wives that were going through the same thing she was, and it's a beautiful program. So here's step 5. Admit it to God, to ourselves, and to another human being, the exact nature of our wrongs. It is important to verbalize the things we have done wrong. Not only does it set you free, it helps you heal, and it also heals those around you, because if you become a better person, then everyone who interacts with you is better off for it. And, I know like in the Catholic faith, people confess to the priest, in a closed room. I don't think I've ever done that. I was raised kind of Catholic. We didn't go to church much, but we were called Catholics. But I do know that that's how people do it. They go in a room and they confess to a priest. Confession could be to anybody. It could be to your therapist, to your life coach, to your best friend, to family members that you trust, to anybody, really. But the main thing is telling someone that you trust, someone that you feel comfortable and safe with, because you're going to be talking about deep issues and you don't want to just be disclosing that to just anybody. It has to be someone you trust. So step 5 is admitting to God. That means God knows about it. You repent, you admit to God all the areas where you've been wrong, where you've done wrong. You admit it to yourself. In other words, you're not in denial anymore. You realize you have done this. You did it. Someone else didn't do it. You did it. You're in denial, but now you're coming forth. You're telling God that you did it. You're telling yourself that you did it. And then you're telling another human being. If you have never done a 12-step program, I highly recommend it. There are many kinds of 12-step programs. One that is very good for dysfunctional families and those raised in alcoholic homes is called Adult Children of Alcoholics. And there, they pair you up with a sponsor. They pair you up with somebody who has gone through the same thing you have, that you could trust, that you could confide in, and talk about the things that have hurt you in your life and currently, because those patterns are very hard to break. All right, so then she goes on to say, talking openly and honestly to another person about ourselves in an attitude that reflects self-responsibility is critical to recovery. All right, so when you're talking to this person, whoever it is, a counselor, therapist, life coach, a friend, sponsor from a 12-step program, you are sharing in a way where you're taking responsibility. You understand the things you've done wrong as a result of being brought up a certain way, or where you grew up, the family you were in, the nuclear family you started, because we do know this. Dysfunction creates more dysfunction unless somewhere along the way you break the dysfunction. And many times when you start to break the dysfunction, things get worse before they get better, because people don't like to be confronted, people don't like to talk about personal things, people don't like to talk about things from the past, and on and on and on the list goes. But when you're sharing with this person, you are taking responsibility for yourself, and that, she says, is critical to recovery, because unless you see the areas where you played the part, where you were the codependent, where you allowed certain behaviors, where you participated in certain behaviors, unless you see that for yourself and take responsibility for it, you're not going to change. It doesn't matter how many 12-step programs you do. You could do 100 of them and not change. Says, it is important to admit that we have done wrong to others and to ourselves. I think it's easy to admit the wrongs we've done to others, but not so easy to admit the wrongs we've done to ourselves. When you've been abused or lived in an abusive home, created an abusive home, it's easy to be in denial about all that and have lack of awareness, be in denial, not talk about it, not tell anybody, not seek counseling. And that is the worst thing you could do. Verbalize our beliefs and our behaviors. Okay? Again, you want to do this in a safe environment. Safe environment. That is critical. If you are going to be talking about these very deep things that are very personal to you, you can't have someone who's debating you, someone who's putting you down, someone who's making you feel bad, someone who's just not helping. That's not what you need. Find a sponsor, find a counselor, find a life coach, find a pastor, find a close friend, a relative, somebody who will hear you, and not only hear you, but believe you. So safety and trust, and also that they believe what you're saying. If you have someone who doesn't believe what you're saying, please find someone else. That's not the person you should be disclosing your most private things to. All right. Says verbalize our beliefs and our behaviors. Get our resentments and fears out in the open. So resentments are bitterness you hold inside, things you hold inside for things that people have done to you, things they've said to you, things they've done to you that you feel are unjust, you feel are disrespectful, you feel are bad. Get those out in the open. And also your fears. What are your fears? Talk about that. Get that out in the open as well. All of this is what's going to help you heal. It's what's going to help you recover and move forward. That is how we release our pain. I believe that. That is how we release our old beliefs and feelings. That's how we are set free. The more clear and specific we can be with our higher power, ourselves, and another person, remember it takes three, the more quickly we will experience that freedom. Here's the thing. You might be in a family where, and this happens a lot with spiritual abuse, where they'll say something like, God is all you need. You don't need to talk to anybody else about your problems. What happens in this family stays here. It's nobody's business. Nobody's interested anyway. Nobody cares. And God will help us with this issue. God will be the one who will handle that. Well, I believed that for a very long time, and because I believed only that, I suffered a very long time. And I personally did not go to therapy until the year before I separated, which was the year 2012, and I separated in year 2013. That is definitely a regret I have, but I think it was part of my Christian upbringing in the church, and just things I would hear. That's the impression that they give, that God is the one, only God. And part of that is true, but I could show you multitude of Bible verses where God says we are part of the body, to having a multitude of counselors provides safety, and how counseling, growing in wisdom and in knowledge, is a biblical concept, and to share our burdens one to another. I mean, I could go on and on and on. So be mindful of that. Think about that. Are those things that you have been told that you believe? Because if you do, then you're never going to get help. It doesn't mean God can't intervene and do a miracle. Sure he can, but he uses people. Just like when you need to have heart surgery, you pray to God to heal you, of course, but you also trust that God has provided this knowledge to surgeons, and if you need heart surgery, you go and get heart surgery. Why is it any different with emotional problems? Why is it any different? That only share your emotional problems with God, because he's the only one that can help you. Like I said, part of that is true, but that's not the complete truth. So she listed out the steps there. Go back and hear this again. Write down the steps, because these are very, very good steps that will help you. Step 5 is an important part of the recovery process. For those of us who have learned to keep secrets from ourselves and others, it is not just a step, it is a leap toward becoming healthy. People who keep secrets, who are not honest with themselves, and keep family secrets, are hurting themselves. And you're only going to be set free once you start talking about it. You have to talk about it. And yes, you will receive criticism. And yes, people will accuse you of all kinds of things. And yes, your own family, friends, people you thought were friends, will reject you, will hate you for doing so. But guess what? They're not going to stand before God when you die and give account for your life. Only you are. They're not going to be there. And so you need to do what is right between you and God, and not fear man. What can man do to you? Kill the body? Okay, you'll be with God then. What else can they do to you? Whatever they do to you, just realize they're not doing it on purpose. They probably think they're helping you. They're trying to show you love the only way they know how. If it's even love, you know, those that have some love towards you. But many times, they don't have love, and they don't have good intentions. And you have to realize that. So those of you that keep secrets, to do this step is like a huge problem. It's very hard for you to do it. I would say you need to have someone you trust to help you with this step. You know, to talk about it, to actually get yourself to talk about it. I mean, someone could go to therapy for years and sit there and not even open their mouth. I've had experience like that in my own family, and not want to talk about it, and just the trauma was so great they can't talk about it. But at some point you have to, or you'll just never will heal. Again, do it with someone you trust, but do it. You're going to see how good you feel after you do it. Here's her prayer at the end. Today I will remember that it's okay to talk about the issues that bother me. It's okay. It is by sharing my issues that I will grow beyond them. I will also remember that it's okay to be selective about those in whom I confide. I can trust my instincts and choose someone who will not use my disclosures against me, and who will give me healthy feedback. All right, so here's a clue for people not to share these important things with. People who have used private information against you in the past and will throw it in your face and will make you feel bad and guilty about it. That's not what you need at this time. What you need at this time is someone who will hear you, understand you, and give you healthy feedback. Because otherwise you just get re-traumatized all over again. Then you're back at square one, actually worse than square one, because now you're traumatized all the more. And that's because you felt you needed to talk to someone. Listen, just because they're family doesn't mean they have their best interest in mind. Just because they're your best friend doesn't mean they have your best interest in mind. Just because they share their problems with you at work and open up about what they're going through doesn't mean they're going to be able to help you. All right? You have to really have discernment in this area. And I've been blessed that the people in my circle, the people that I confide in, are very wise and knowledgeable, and they have really helped me, and I'm thankful. I thank God for them every day. So I would love to be that person in your life as a life coach. That is what I do. If you have not been to my website, please do. It is www.mymomentslc.com. LC stands for life coaching. And free consultation, 30-minute free consultation for everyone. And I'd love to hear your story, hear your situation, and see if we would be a good fit together. All right, let's see what we're going to read about on Monday. It's going to be take risks. Ooh, take risks. That's going to be good. If you did not hear the one I did prior to this one, it was very good as well. Property lines. I've yet to upload it to YouTube. These also go on my website, but I will upload property lines very soon, and that was a very good one as well. I hope you have a great day. Be blessed, and remember step 5. Share where you have been wrong with someone you trust. Be honest with yourself about what you've done and what others have done also, because we don't exist on an island. There are many things that have shaped us and have made us who we are today. But take responsibility for your part. You definitely have a role to play and a part to play in the whole story. All right, God bless and have a wonderful day. Bye.